If you're itching to explain yourself, congrats. You've already started the conversation on your knees, dignity on a leash, holding a sign that says, "Please understand me." But hey, your intentions were good, right?
Sure, because every beg for emotional scraps comes gift-wrapped.
Over-explaining isn't clarity. It's desperation spritzed with fake politeness. It's like tossing out the last shreds of respect you think you have, hoping anyone tosses back and it's all good. The average guy thinks justifying everything is some noble act. How cute. It's a delusion stitched together with threads of fear. Fear of being misunderstood, of rubbing someone the wrong way, of stepping off the stage of everyone else's approval. Meanwhile, the guy who gets the game watches in silence, decides without fanfare, and holds his ground with the steadiness of someone who doesn't need an audience clapping. He doesn't beg for respect, he commands it. Every extra sentence you spit out to clarify is just another disguised plea for acceptance. And the more you beg with pretty words, the more your authority swirls down the drain. But sure, then you wonder why you're always questioned, tested, pushed. Because you keep handing out explanations like flowers at a funeral. Over-explaining doesn't come from logic. It stems from the terror of rejection. And every time you try to fix the image someone has of you, you're basically saying, "Here, take control of my story, I don't mind." Real authority doesn't defend itself. It just exists. It doesn't argue, explain, or justify. It unsettles in silence. This video isn't a guide to being rude, relax. It's just a brutal mirror, the kind that doesn't sugarcoat, so you can see you're digging your own social grave with a shovel of misplaced manners. If you learn to swallow that urge to justify, maybe someone will finally respect you without you doing verbal gymnastics. But keep justifying everything, and with luck, you'll snag a lifetime certificate for the try-hard who never got the game. And before you think this video popped up as a sign from the universe, nah, it wasn't magic or good karma. It was the algorithm. And the algorithm, unlike your last crush, only bites if you feed it. No compassion, just logic. So if you're here sucking down free content with that face like you deserve it all without lifting a finger, bold move. Like it. Come on. Subscribe. Do something, even if it's just faking gratitude to keep up your enlightened vibe. Alright, enough intro. The emotional gut punch is getting impatient. Number 1. The automatic urge to explain yourself. There's a silent syndrome but loud as hell that hits the modern man. The uncontrollable rush to explain. A sideshow all its own. Nobody asked, nobody accused, nobody even gave you a side eye. And there you go. Volunteer of the month in the World Championship of Unsolicited Justifications. What a performance. You call it politeness. But the truth? It's anxiety dolled up with good diction. Fear with a gentle tone. That almost childish need to control what people think of you like that's possible without trading away your own authority. Every time you open your mouth to add context nobody asked for, you're basically yelling, "Please like me," just with fancier words. You freak out at the thought of someone forming an opinion about you without your stamp, your script, your filter. And in that frenzy to direct the story, you end up confessing what you're trying hardest to hide. The insecurity driving you. The tragedy is quiet and predictable. Each extra explanation sounds like a plea for permission to exist. Every added detail is a signed confession of low self-worth, penned with your own tongue. You're not taking a stand, you're offering yourself up. Not being clear, you're shrinking yourself. And the best part? You think this is maturity. How adorable. While you're reciting justifications like self-help poetry, the other side has already figured it out. You fold easy. And if you fold easy, you'll get tested, interrupted, pushed down every time you try to climb. Because you trained the world to see you that way. You coached people to treat you like someone who has to explain every step to earn scraps of space. And when you finally realize you've lost control, it's too late. The silent hierarchy is set, and guess what? You're not at the top. But keep going with that good communication vibe, while all you're really broadcasting is one thing: fear of judgment. And anyone afraid of judgment has already accepted the sentence. The cherry on top? It's not even the urge, it's what it screams to anyone watching. I need you to get me because I can't hold myself up. Poetic, huh? Almost beautiful. Too bad the world doesn't applaud that kind of drama. Number 2. What explaining really says. Heads up, champion of compulsive verbal honesty. Time to face the truth your ego's been dodging. You still believe over-explaining shows integrity, clarity, and noble intent? How sweet. Except no. What you're really blasting in bold caps is that you're desperate for approval. Every time you justify without being asked, you don't look honest. You look anxious, not confident, submissive. The subtext is crystal. Go ahead, judge me, size me up, rate me. I'm already here, stripped bare, waiting for your verdict before I keep breathing. What an inspiring stance. For anyone who wants to get dominated gracefully. Explaining buddy doesn't build value. It puts your position up for grabs. And anything up for grabs starts out losing. Respect. It trickles away like dignity on a reality TV show. And the other person senses, even if they can't put it in words, that something just got easier to poke at. Cue the show. Interruptions, dumb questions, tests disguised as chit-chat. Just to see how far your justification routine goes. And you go far. Because you've already taught them you'll play along. You defend before the attack, answer before the question, bow before the command. Result? The hierarchy shifts. No yelling, no announcement. It just shifts. And you become the guy who has to justify his space to keep it. What a classy flop, right? While you're building paragraphs to seem clear, the guy who dominates builds silence. He's not worried about being understood because he doesn't need it to exist. He's rock solid. You're wordy. And there's the killer irony. The more you talk, the less they listen. Your explanation turns into a symphony of unasked-for excuses. They don't think, what an honest guy. They think, what a weak one. And once that read hits, no pretty argument flips it. Respect doesn't storm out. It slips away quietly, no heads up. And by the time you notice, you're already the one who has to prove everything all the time. But the best part is you think this only happens in small talk. Just wait. This compulsion to explain is the gateway to a much bigger mess. Spoiler, no undo button. Number 3, how respect slips away slowly. Respect, my friend, doesn't vanish with big bangs or killer lines. It's way classier. It fades quietly, evaporates like cheap cologne through the day. At first you don't notice, but eventually all that's left is the sweat. And the funniest part, you think you're still in charge. It starts slow, almost stylish. The tone of chats shifts, questions get sharper, and your decisions once taken at face value now spark debates. You speak, they cut you off. You decide, they grill you. But nothing major, of course. Just little tests to check if you're still the same good boy explainer. And you confirm it. With flying colors. Explain, justify, contextualize, recite. Because the habits become who you are. And every time you explain again, you hand over another slice of your authority. You're not clarifying squat. You're reaffirming. Yeah, I accept being put on trial. And anyone who accepts constant testing is basically asking to get demoted with style. Respect doesn't bolt all at once. It leaks out, subtle, while you pretend you're keeping the peace with your soggy diplomacy. The truth is less noble. You're teaching them to nudge you just a bit further each day. Today, an extra question. Tomorrow, a forced doubt. Next, an order dressed as a suggestion. And you take it. Because you mix up avoiding conflict with keeping harmony. What a masterclass in self-deception. You become a permanent defendant in a court that only exists in your head. Always ready to defend crimes nobody charged you with. The twisted part? Nobody has to announce they've lost respect for you. It's already happening. No fanfare, no crowd, no warning. And when you try to claw it back with another sanitized emotional pitch, you just hand over the receipt. Yeah, I know I slipped, but can I at least bargain for a corner stool? And the most tragic, you still think you're right. Cling to the excuse that it's better to keep things light, or it's just being kind. But deep down, that's cowardice dressed as virtue. Respect didn't disappear. You shoved it out the door with every misplaced word, and now you're begging it back with flowery speeches. Good luck. Number 4, the lie of I'm just being polite. Welcome to the club of men tamed by their own story. The excuse du jour? I'm just being polite. How elegant, how refined, how utterly pathetic. You use politeness as a moral shield, when really it's your go-to disguise for not admitting you've lost emotional control of your own life. You call it respect. But what you're doing is submission with a glossy finish. You take dumb tests, swallow snide remarks, gulp down intrusions like they're good manners, all in the name of peace. Peace with who? Others or your own cowardice? The spiel's always the same. I don't want to seem arrogant. I don't want to create tension. I don't want conflict. Translated from passive-aggressive, I don't want to lose approval. And it's exactly that fear, masked as kindness, that costs you what matters respect. You've been trained to think firmness is rudeness, silence is arrogance, not explaining is lacking empathy. Congrats. You bought the full emotional lie sold under getting along. The payoff? You become a background character in your own life, always dialing back your tone and opinion size to not bruise someone else's ego who's already figured out they can test you freely. While you're serving tea and empathy in every chat, another guy who barely tries gets handled with care. Not because he's better, but because he doesn't beg acceptance with every breath. He says little, doesn't explain, doesn't bend. And that, by some magic, called posture, makes others think twice before poking. The harsh truth. The world respects those who respect themselves. And respect starts the second you stop using politeness as a crutch to justify your constant self-erasure. But hold up, we're not done. When you stop explaining, you won't get cheers. They'll call you cold, distant, arrogant, and that's exactly when the game flips. Because the guy who dominates doesn't rush to fix that image. He holds it. He doesn't haggle perceptions. He is what he is, with or without applause. Meanwhile, you can keep dishing smiles and getting politely ignored. Good luck with that tragic grace. Number 5, the man who doesn't explain. Now take a deep breath. This might sting, because here's the kind of man who throws whole rooms off balance without raising his volume. Not by yelling, not by scaring, but by simply not needing acceptance to exist. He gets a truth you still treat like myth. Other people's views aren't his problem. It's a natural filter. Who gets it? Cool. Who doesn't? Tough luck. While you're scrambling like an emotional intern to tweak the narrative and buff your image with harmless phrases, he holds his stance. You chase understanding. He just is. You talk. He watches. You persuade. He upholds. And while you rely on others' grasp to breathe easy, he breathes solo. This man doesn't explain because he knows actions speak louder than any rehearsed speech. Misunderstood? Too bad for the lazy observer. Wrong judgment? Oh well, he doesn't chase perceptions. He imposes presence. And oddly enough, the effect is instant. People start weighing words, treading lighter, thinking twice before testing. Why? Because he gives no openings. It's not arrogance. It's zero desperation. He doesn't fight for the narrative. He sets the pace. Doesn't react to seem cool, only moves when it's worth it. And that lack of strain creates what you've never nailed with emotional likes. Silent authority. Sure, he'll get labeled. Cold, aloof, tough, perfect. Those tags work like repellent for emotional clingers and premium filters for folks who value solid stance. Because deep down, anyone calling him arrogant is just pissed they can't drag him into the emotional courtroom where you live defending like a lifelong defendant. He skips pointless debates. doesn't justify choices, doesn't apologize for taking space. He upholds, and upholding doesn't need words to convince. But here's the final slap. Plenty of guys think they'll become this by just shutting up, and they bomb hard. Because when silence turns into an act, not essence, the game backfires. And that's exactly the mute theater we're diving into next. Number 6, when silence becomes a performance. Here's where the tragicomedy kicks off for the Instagram alpha wannabe. He finally gets that yapping too much was social suicide, congrats on the late wake-up. So he decides to zip it, but not from maturity, from strategy. And boom, performative silence is born. Loaded with dramatic tension, pauses measured to the millimeter, like every mute second is a power manifesto. Spoiler, it's not. This silence isn't light, solid, or authoritative. It's neediness rehearsed as self-sufficiency. The guy clams up but side-eyes for reactions. Doesn't reply but clocks minutes to see if he's missed. Ghosts but keeps emotional GPS on, waiting to be chased. That's not stance. It's a tantrum dressed as mystery. Real silence is a whole different world. It doesn't beg for impact, hides no tension, skips the drama. It wants nothing from others. It just is. But performative silence is noisy, even wordless. The body demands. The gaze snitches. The absence reeks of cheap provocation. And the other side smells it instantly. You're not quiet from strength. You're quiet from craving. Outcome? The respect you started rebuilding, poof, gone again. Because now you're not the explainer. You're the manipulator. Same weakness, new costume. The true dominator doesn't wield silence as punishment. He doesn't vanish to stir drama, he just doesn't stick where it's worthless. No response time math, no miracle text waiting. He's busy being, not performing. And here's the fatal gap. The performer tries to look strong. The real one just is. One needs an audience. The other holds presence on any stage, even in silence. See why poses flop? They tire out. Demand effort. Crave payback. True dominance. That's silent by nature, not need. And that's why it can't be faked as a show. Real power never announces itself. It imposes. Period. Number 7. Dominance without trying. This is where the circus crumbles for those chasing alpha status with forced quiet roars. Real dominance needs no effort, no script, no show. It just is. Silent, solid, unavoidable. The dominant man doesn't walk into a room competing with the wallpaper. He doesn't prove jack to anyone. He sorted that in the mirror ages ago. He ignores low-rent jabs, doesn't rush to clap back at sloppy shade, and above all, doesn't burn energy tweaking how others see him. Because he knows perception from truth. And his doesn't hinge on outside thumbs up. That security is so unnerving it bugs people right away. They can't explain it, but they feel no games here. While the insecure chats like it's an emotional job interview, the dominant watches, acts sparingly, and upholds tons. He doesn't defend because he feels no threat, doesn't counter because he feels no accusation, and doesn't justify because he rejects judgment. This calm isn't apathy, it's control. It annoys controllers, disarms schemers, and commands respect without a word. Because when you're whole, you don't need to win arguments. Just stay put. Effortless dominance starts where you quit chasing validation and trust your own consistency. Living true means no explaining every move. Upholding values means no billboard principles. The dominant doesn't convince, he lets time do the dirty work. And time, as always, sifts the solid from the posers masterfully. Then, the invisible hierarchy forms. Where you don't ask for space, you get it. Not from stage charm, but inner stability. And here's the reality check. Almost everything you did before to seem strong was just noise. Yells from someone without backing. Because true silence isn't voiceless, it's overflowing security. presence that doesn't bargain, and once you're there, the game doesn't even start, because effortless dominance never joined the fight. It just doesn't have to. Number 8. The killer close. In the end, it was never about tricks, tactics, or cheap manual hacks. It always was and will be about stance. While you're still wasting breath convincing the world you belong, the dominant man has already sat back, crossed his legs, and is getting served. Without raising his voice, without emotional flips. Every justification you drop isn't just verbal relief, it's a quiet step toward a posture that needs no subtitles. Every silence you hold firm is territory claimed without blood, fights, or drama. Because bottom line, overtalkers are just begging permission to exist. And solid quiet makes it clear, his worth isn't up for debate. That's why the man who doesn't explain dominates. He doesn't chase cheers, debate for spotlight, or kneel for emotional nods. He gets rare these days that respect doesn't sprout from polished speeches. It grows from posture that withstands pressure without crumbling. If this hit home, great. But don't comment to look evolved. Comment to own it. Write with your back straight. I don't explain. I uphold. Because deep down, the gap between the heard and the ignored boils down to one detail. The first, know when to shut up. The second, keep yapping, hoping for acceptance. Now choose, uphold silence or keep stacking unasked explanations. Because in the end, who gets it shifts stance, and who doesn't keeps monologuing.